Hi, favorites. Hello. Let me wait for a few people to join us. Then we'll start. Let's wait for 1 minute. Then we're gonna start soon. Mm, mm, mm. Hi, Linda. You're welcome. Hi, favorites. You are welcome, welcome, welcome. Hi, Happy. You're welcome, guys. You're welcome. So I'm going to get right into it. I don't want to take too much of your time today. You're welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time, you are welcome. My name is Favor. I am the host for Beauty Spotlight, and I am your host for this channel. This channel is all about beauty and lifestyle. So you're welcome. If you have interest in beauty related content, lifestyle related content, I'm your plug. Okay, you're welcome. Today we are having the second episode of Beauty Spotlight, and our focus today is on eyebrows. So we are going to be doing a detailed tutorials concerning eyebrows, anything you need to know about eyebrows. So that is what we're doing today. I don't know if we need to wait for more people to join. Hi, Shonda. So I'll just get right into it. Hi, Zanti. Okay, Happy. So we're going to start. For you to be able to get a perfect brows, as women, and when it comes to our makeup, our brows is one of the things that stand out or should stand out when it comes to our makeup. No matter how much you like simple makeup, natural less makeup, and you still look good, you can just throw on some powder and you still look good. Like now, I'm on makeup, right? But my face, I feel my face is not yet defined because I've not like drawn my brows. I didn't do my brows because I wanted to do my brows with you guys, for you guys to see the process step by step, and you see the difference that is going to bring to my face. You see the definition that the brows is going to give my face. So that's what we're going to do today. So for us to start, we need I'm going to be showing you the things we need. You need a brow pencil, you need a gel. So I'll be showing you on one side how to use a gel for your brows, then I'll show you on the other side how to use a pencil. So whatever works for you, fine. Both are usually good. Then you make your own choice on what you want. So we need a spoolie. This is a spoolie. Okay, then we need an angle brush. So I'm using the two-in-one. Some come single, so I'm just using the two-in-one. I like to just make it easier for myself, so I like this type of spoolie. So this is a spoolie, then this is the angled brush that we're going to be using. Then we need a blending brush to blend out our concealer, obviously. Then I'm going to use a concealer. These are the things we need, the compulsory things we need, right? Then I'm going to show you the other things that are optional if you want to use it. Then this is a brow hair wax. This is a hair wax. So what this one is for is to use to hold your hairs in place. Then, or you use a brow, this one is a brow wax. So for people that can't get this one, you can use the air wax, but make sure the air wax you're using is not the one that has so much oil. So we're going to start now. If you're ready, can I see some thumbs up, please? Can I see some thumbs up? Let's see if you're ready for the class. If you're ready for the class, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Okay, Zontic is ready. So let's start. So the first thing you do when it comes to your eyebrows, right? The first thing you do when it comes to your eyebrow is you use your spoolie. So that reminds me, I was supposed to, my brows are already carved, so I didn't show you guys how to carve brows because I don't have accesses to show you how to carve your brows. So maybe when my hairs grow back, I can show you guys how to carve your brows. But for you to have a clean brow look, your brows should, you should always take out the excess, and the excess is the ones under the hairs under your brow bone. So this is your brow bone, right? Always take out the excess. So once they have, when the hairs here is going to make it look rough, no matter how beautiful your brow is drawn, but it's going to look rough once you have excesses here. So always take a razor or tweezer to take out the excesses on the brow bone. I barely touch the front of my brows, so hair always grows faster. So what we are going to do, we're going to prime the brows first. I'm going to use the primer. So now the reason for using a primer, because some people get oily on the brows, and some brow pencils too. Some brow pencil can be oily. Unlike the gels are always, they last longer, you know. But for brow pencils, depending on the kind of brow pencil you're using, it can be oily. Sometimes the weather too can make you oily. So you always prime your brows with a matte. So I'm going to take just a little to prime the brows. That's what I'm going to do. Always prime your brows, please. It's very important. Very, very important to prime your brows. It gives you a longer stay, helps fight all the oil around your brows. So we're done with the priming. Now I'm going to show you how, so now I'm going to show you how you should draw your brows, the beginning and the end, before we now do the prepping mostly. Just, so what you do is you, let me get my mirror so that I don't have to bend too much. So the first thing you do, you brush your brows upwards. So if I had SS's, you see that it's going to be longer than this, but now it's just the way it's supposed to be because I trimmed it like some days ago. So you're going to brush your brows. Good morning. You're going to brush your brows upwards. The direction of your hair is okay. So now since we've brushed it upward, the next thing we're going to do, we're going to use our brow tamer. Hi, Sissy. Good morning. So we're going to use our brow tamer. Now, remember I showed you the air wax, right? For people that, the reason I'm showing you this is an alternative for your brow tamer. So if you don't have a brow tamer, basically a brow tamer is to hold your brows in place, your hairs in place. So if you don't have a brow tamer, you can use the air wax. So that's the reason why I'm showing you the air wax, okay? So I'm going to use the brow tamer now, or air wax, as the case may be. I'm just going to take a little. This is it. This one is tinted, but it doesn't really show that much of color on the brows. I like it because it's not oily. So you just take a little of your brow tamer now to hold your hairs in place, just the way we've brushed it earlier. So for people just joining us, We've primed our brows. You can replay the video beginning of to watch the beginning. So we've primed our brows. Now what we are doing is we are taming the brows basically with brow tamer. Hi, can you see the difference? See this one and see this one. There's a big difference, okay? And watch carefully, please, the direction of how I'm going. So you see the importance of using a brow tamer for your brows. It helps to keep your hairs in place and makes your drawing way easier. So now remember we brushed these brows up. We brushed both brows up. But now look at the one without the tamer and look at the one with the tamer. Look, there's a big difference, right? Brow tamer. This is a brand. I think this is a Nigerian. Oh shit. This is a Nigerian brand. This is a Nigerian brand. Brow tamer, basically, or brow gel. I think some people call it brow gel or brow tamer. So if you search for it, you get it. You can get any brand as long as it's not oily. The alternative is the air wax. That is the alternative, okay? Or you can use the got to be gel. You can use the got to be gel so it will hold it in place. So look at the difference. I'm going to do the same thing for the other side. So this step is very important for people, especially people that have full hairs and stubborn hairs, people that have coily hairs. It's very, very important for them. So I'm showing you guys everything you need to know. No hidden secrets here. Always make sure to brush the front. Uh, I hope this life helps you. So always make sure the front of your brows is brushed upwards, okay? Always make sure the front is brushed upwards, then the other part you go in a slant motion. So now here the hairs are a bit longer. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the spoolie to just put it in place like this. Please just pay attention. You should be able to get this with few practice. So now our brows are already in place. Can you see? Our brows are already in place. If you have full brows, if you have stubborn hairs, please get a brow tamer. It's very, very good. So our brows are in place now. We've primed, we've prepped. So this is called brow prepping. Now the next thing I'm going to do now is to show you how you should go with your brows. So from here, this is this is your beginning, the beginning of your brows. So you can use your nose and a brush or anything to measure until you're perfect with drawing your brows. You don't have to do all this thing I'm doing now. So this for you to know the beginning of your brows before the bridge of your nose, okay? Just here, like this. Can you see I did a mark here? Then this same place, you hold it, then you bring it this way. This is the arc of your brows. Can you see? This is the arc of your brows. Yeah, you see. So naturally, my arc is not so visible, but with this method, it can tell me where my arc should be. So when you put it like this, the beginning, yeah, this is the arc. Now the end of your brows, can you see? This should be the end of your brows. Look at it here. Or you can use your eyes to check the end of your eyes, the outer part of your eyes. Your brows should not be longer than your eyes, okay? So it's very simple. It's very simple. It's okay, easy. Yeah, it always looks easier. Trust me, but when you want to try it, that's when you see the main challenge. So it comes this way, this, this, and this. Okay. We've done the markings now. Then another tip I want to show you guys when it comes to using pencil. Thank you. So another tip when it comes to using pencil to make your brow drawing of your brow easier, make sure your pencil is always sharp. Always, always sharp. If you're using the type that you need to sharpen, or if you're using the retractable pencil. So for someone who is starting off, I don't advise the retractable pencils because it gets to break, and for a beginner it's not really good. So always use this type that you can sharpen, and make sure the tip is this sharp. Can you see? This sharp. So you have to keep sharpening along the line. Don't We use black or brown. You use brown. There are different browns. You use brown. This is a darker brown, and this is a lighter brown, depending on your skin tone though. When it comes to browns, depending on your skin tone. So the pencil I would use on myself is not what I will use on a dark skin, because it's not going to show. Yeah, so it's not going to show. So you have to use something that will show. If your hairs are really dark, you go for a darker pencil, but you have to always be light-handed, please. Always be light-handed. So for the pencil now, I'm using two shades of pencil. It's not necessary. Trust me, you don't have to. I'm just doing that. You don't have to. Why? Because I want to use the darker shade to line, then use the lighter shade to fill it in. I can use just this one to do everything. It doesn't matter. This one is just like to make it more pronounced. That's just the reason for using two shades. So what are we going to do now? We're going to start drawing. So now, to get a seamless brow, don't ever start your brows from the front. Don't. If you start your brows from the front, you're going to have like a harsh looking brows, a thick looking brows. So always start your brows from the middle here, like this. Always start your brows from the middle. So see now, look at where I stopped, and look at the place we did the marking. I didn't go beyond that because I know that I'm still going to come from the top, right? And it's going to extend a little bit. So the first rule is never start from the front. Everything you're doing, the front should be the last. Avoid the front of your brows. The front should be the last. Never start from the front. That's the first rule. So I'm still going to go up. So now I'm starting from here. And another thing is, don't go beyond the hairs of your brows. If you want to have a good looking brows, don't go beyond the hairs, because when you go beyond the hairs, there will be space in between, and your pencil might not be able to cover it up properly. Even when you make it darker, your pencil covers it. With time, is going to that place is going to fade off, because the pencil is on your skin and not on the hairs. Okay, so always start from where your hairs stop. Don't go beyond your hairs. So see, yeah, so see, we're done now. Very simple. If your brows are not straight, don't bother, you're still going to conceal it at the end of the day. I'm going to go in now with the lighter pencil. Remember, you don't have to use two shades of pencil, just my own way. So now time to fill it, right? You go according to the direction of your hairs this way. If you notice, I'm not painting it. I'm not painting, I'm just going like in hair strokes. I'm doing like I'm mimicking the hairs on my brows. Light-handed, please. Always go light-handed. So now for the front, well, I'm still going to sharpen this again. Remember I told you always sharpen along the line. It has to, because when it has a very thin mouth, it gives you a thinner stroke. That way it gives you a more natural look. So now I'm going to go in a stroke, going upwards. Light-handed, please. If you're not light-handed, you're going to ruin everything. Okay, so I'm going to go. So before, our hands placement was like this, right? So now I'm going to go this way because I'm trying to mimic the hairs. Okay, can you see now the beginning? This is the beginning, right? The arc and the tail. The tail should never be longer than your eyes, please. So if you like long brows, the length of your eyes should be the max you should go. Some people like very dramatic brows. So if you notice the front, I'm using the lightest strokes, the lightest strokes, okay? So we're going to use our spoolie now just to blend the front. Upwards position, please. So when drawing the brows, when filling it in, I did like hair stroke. I mimicked the hair strokes, then I gave space. That's why you can still see some skin in between. But if you go like if you shade, you don't shade. If you shade, it's going to give you a thicker brows and a more artificial look. But for some people, they like it that way. But then again, when it comes to makeup, whatever that works for you. So I'm connecting it. And when drawing your brows or doing your makeup, be observant of everything. If something is not looking right, try to fix it. Okay, this is it. So I think I want to extend it a little bit. Okay, so it's easier. What are the benefits of using a pencil? The number one benefit is that it's easier to use, it's faster to use. That's that's basically the only benefit. Then the disadvantage is that it can get oily. It can get oily and it can move after some time, especially if you're in heat, a place that is very very hot, or if you're someone that is very very oily skinned, it can move. That's why you see the importance of priming your brows. So now what I'm going to do now, I'm going to do the other side. So what I'm going to do now, we're going to do the other side with the gel, with the brow gel, for people that like to use gel for their brows. Personally, I prefer brow gel because one, it gives you a more natural look. That's why I like it. It gives you a more natural look and it's long lasting. Oh my god. Hold on, please. I need to, just can you help me fix this battery? Let me call this guy to turn on the gen for me. Sorry guys. I don't know. They just have to show you guys I'm in Nigeria, right? Hold on, please. You put it on this one, behind this one. Okay, the gen is coming on now. Hi, Smith. So we're going to, let me just wait a bit. Let me, okay, the light is back on. Light is back on, so, ooh, we're back. All right, so for this other brows, I'm going to be using the brow gel. Personally, personal preference, I prefer to use the gel. It gives you a more natural look and more long lasting. So for my clients, I use gel the most. Then sometimes I just use, maybe if I'm in a hurry, the client like is in a hurry and there's no time, I use I use the pencil. Or days on myself, days I know that I'm not going to be out for too long or the weather is not hot, I just use a pencil. So when you take, just scoop out a little. See, you have it pan. Scoop out a little on the back of your hands, like so. So you use an angle brush for that. Yeah, we do microblading. We do microblading in Nigeria. I've got microbladed brows though. These are microbladed brows. So I just used my foundation to cover it up because of the class. So what we're going to do now, we're going to start drawing. The same process. You don't start from the front, just the same way we did it, but this time with the gel. Okay. So see, gel for me any day, anytime. If you've mastered using a pencil, you can use a gel because it's the same process. The only difference is using a gel this time, you have to go in, back and forth, you know. That's the only difference. So we're going to fill it. The face is beginning to pop. I told you, brows have a way of lifting a woman's face. So even if you don't like makeup, please like brows. That way you can do your brows, put on some powder, and you're good to go. So you're going to see the difference using, so another tip when using a gel, always clean. So when I'm using a gel, I always like to have like a paper towel with me. So once I use, I clean off. That way to keep the brush flat, and not, when you're using it with product, it piles up and becomes bulky. So it's not going to give you a smooth finish. So see, I'm just doing it like that. Ah, don't worry, I'm going to post the video. I recorded the process of the lipstick. So we're still using the same process by filling in the way we've already prepped the brows. So are you seeing? There's a big difference, see, with pencil, with gel. I'm sure now some of you can tell why I prefer the gel. It gives you a more natural look and a more hair-like look. I don't know the word to use. So yeah, but it takes longer to use the gel. That's the only disadvantage. Remember, I told you when filling in, you're going upwards from down, up, down, up, okay? Then the front of your brow it should be the last. Then the darkest part of your brows should be the tail of your brows. So this is the beginning. So from like doing this way, I already know that I'm supposed to come further a little bit. That's the idea of knowing the measurement. But now I'm going to be very, very faint handed. Please, when applying makeup, always go light handed. It's better you're adding than reducing because it's easier to add than to reduce. Okay, look at the difference. This brow looks darker because the pencil, I actually use the brown that is not far from my skin tone, but because it's a pencil, it gives you a darker look compared to this one. Yeah, the gel is always better, trust me. And the gel is going to remain like this all day, no matter how much you sweat. Okay, we're done. We're done now. It's time for us to conceal our brows. So since I'm going to use the same brush, I'll just have to clean. I'm using a wipes to clean off the. So for concealer now, so for concealer, yeah, it looks more natural. This is like more like what I prefer to do than using a pencil. Then for concealer, always look for concealers that are not too far from your skin tone. So if you're going for something very subtle, use a concealer that is your exact skin tone, or better still, use your foundation to clean your brows. That's when you're going very natural, very, very natural. Yes, Zontic, very, very natural. You're using the same skin tone, but if you want it to pop a little bit to give your eyes a bit of lift, then you're going to use a concealer a shade lighter than you, or 1.5 shade lighter than you. It all depends on what you like. For me, I don't like to go beyond 1 shade lighter. Maybe because I'm a minimalist. So I'm using 2 shade of concealer. I'm going to be mixing it because I don't want it to be too bright. That's the reason why I'm mixing it. Because of the look I'm trying to achieve. So when it comes to concealing, you have to be really, really careful when concealing your brows. Why? Because you can ruin everything you've done if you're not careful. So for concealer, I prefer to put products on my back of my hands because to me it's faster for me, especially when I'm doing my own makeup. So we're going to start basically from the arc. Short strokes. It's easier to do short strokes than to just go all the way. It's easier to do short strokes than to go all the way. That way you can correct any error along the line. So I'm coming closer to the camera so that you guys can see, because if I'm far, you might not be able to see properly. Even as a professional, I still prefer to do short strokes. Sorry guys, I've got a cold. So can you see? I'm just blending it out with the same brush. And for concealing your brows, you don't need too much concealer. Trust me, you don't need too much concealer. I get to see people use a whole lot of product. You don't need all that. So we've done the lower part. I'm just going to take what is left on the brush. I'm not going to dip into the concealer anymore. What is left on the brush is what I'm going to use for the upper part. So for the upper part, you have to be really, really careful. Thank you. You have to be really, really careful. So look at, just watch how I'm doing it. I'm dragging upwards. Don't worry, your first two trials, you might not, so sorry. Your first two trials, you might not get it immediately, but with constant practice, you will. So I'm concealing the upper part of my brows because of the class. Most times I don't bother. So when I get to the tail, I just use the longer part of the angle brush. Just go this way. So this brow shade is perfect, is okay. But because we used it side by side with a gel, we use this side by side with a gel. See, we use this side by side with a gel, so it's looking like it's darker. But if I should use it this same side, you won't notice the difference. Trust me. So there is no product. Remember, there is no product on the brush. I'm just using it to clean up the mark I did at the front. Remember that mark that was there? That's what I'm cleaning off, please. So now we're going to go in with the brush, the blending brush, to blend. Now, when concealing, if you cleaned too much, you can always still go back with your pencil. So like now, I cleaned too much on the arc, so I'm going to go back with the pencil. I know some people will say the pencil is still sharp, but I like it very thin. See, it's better like this. When your pencil is thin, you get a better result. So I've got like one annoying pimple that is obstructing my arc from being great. So this brow is perfect on its own, like this. It is perfect. See, ignore the pimples, guys. Remember, I did not use new concealer for the upper part, please, because if you use concealer on the upper part, you're going to have a brow looking so drawn, and you don't want that. So I'm just defining the edges of the brows now. Thank you. So I just want to a little to connect to this side. Yeah, look, this brow is okay on its own like this. So if you're a minimalist, you can draw your brows way lighter than this if you want. Remember, you brush upwards. Okay. Yeah, we're done with this part. So I'm just defining the lines more. You can leave it that way if you want to. Okay, we're done. So when concealing, you can always bring your concealer down to your eyes. Okay. On Sunday, we're going to be doing eyeshadow. So I'm going to show you how to bring your concealer down. So let's go to the gloss. I'm taking for the other eyes. So go this way from the arc. Remember, short strokes. By the time you master how to draw your brows, you're going to be faster with your brows. Trust me, you can use 5 minutes to draw both brows. See? You can use 5 minutes. Remember, mhm, remember, I did not start my concealing from the front. Don't forget, I did not start the concealing from the front, so that you don't forget and start your concealer from the front. Don't, please, don't do that. So when you do it, you drag it down so that it's not bulky. The concealer is not bulky. So I'm going to conceal the upper part. So normally I don't need to conceal the upper part of my brows. I don't need to. But for the sake of this class, I'm going to conceal it. Remember, I don't have products. Remember, I don't have products. I'm using the what is left on the brush. You use the longer part of the when you get to the tail, you use the longer part of your angle brush just to swipe down. This way you press down. That's how you do it. Your blending brush, you blend. Mhm. My highlighter is just shining all over the place. Can you see? So I'm going to go in with my gel again. So after concealing, always go back with your pencil or your gel to define the edges of your brows. Just to define the edges, because of the concealing you must have cleaned a bit of it. So I noticed I cleaned the upper part a bit, so I'm going to come this way. Okay, now we're done. They just restored the light. Please, um please, can you help me call him? Tell him not to turn off the gen. Let him not turn it off. I don't want. Okay, now we're done. So if we're doing like a nose contour now, so I'm going to teach you how to do your nose contour, connecting it to your brows. So most times the beginning of your brows goes in with your nose contour. That way it looks more defined at the front. So we're done. Whatever style of brows you like. You see, they are two different. Is it that obvious? So what we're going to do now, we're going to use powder. So whenever you use a cream product, you always go in with powder to hold or to set. So you can set with your compact powder, you can set with a lighter powder, you can set with your skin shade, your shade of powder, you can set with using a setting powder. Depends on what you like. So I'm going to use setting powder for this other side. That is me just trying to show you different the reason for using a powder, because you need to set the concealer for it not to get oily. So for this other side, I'm going to use a setting powder. It's just for me to show you that you can actually use setting powder for your brows. So I'm going to use is it puff or sponge? I don't know. It comes with setting powders most times. Just going to dust off a little. So now the difference with using a setting powder and using a compact powder on your brow bone, good afternoon, is that setting powder gives you a more natural look compared to using the compact powder for your brow bone. So that's what setting powder does. It gives you a more natural look. So it's safe to say that this side of my face, we're doing more of natural. Then this side, we're doing more of the more um is it heavier, or I don't know what to call it, but for people that like their makeup too. See, we're done with our brows. Thank you guys for joining. If you're just joining, please watch the replay for you to be able to grab what we've done so far. So this is the brows. This is pencil. We used pencil. We used gel. Let me show you guys. So we used a pencil for this one, then we used the brow gel for this one. So whatever you like to use, whatever you're comfortable with, you can have both. You use the gel the day you have time. Like I said earlier, the gel takes longer to use than the pencil. The pencil is faster. So whatever you like to use, use, but don't forget to always prime your brows. It's very, very important. So we're done for today's class. Yeah, beautiful either way. Yeah, anyone can walk, trust me. It's all about personal preference. Okay, guys, thank you so much for sticking with me today. I hope you learned one or two things. You can always watch this video over and over again till you get how to draw your brows. It was really detailed, how to from the beginning, how where your brows should start from, where your where your arc should be, and where your brows should end. Okay, it's very detailed. And if you're having any issues, you can go back to the video. It's going to be very helpful to you. Thank you guys for watching. The gel is my favorite look, but I'll use pencil anyways because I feel it's easier. Yes, the pencil is always easier. Pencil is always easier and faster. It's faster and it's easier to use. If you can use gel whenever you can always practice with gel. So just try your best, practice, practice, practice. Brows are not so easy, but once you've gotten it, you've gotten it. Okay, thank you. Please watch the replay. So once you've gotten your brows, you've gotten it. So just try your best to practice, practice, practice. It can be frustrating at the beginning, but trust me, once you get a hang of it, it's going to be very easy for you. Okay. And don't forget to join us same time on Sunday. So on Sunday, I'll be teaching you guys eyeshadow. I'll be doing two different eyeshadow. One a different look here, different look here. Okay, on Sunday. Don't miss it. And I'll see you guys. Love you. Thank you guys. And don't forget to give me a thumbs up.